Hudson's Bay department store used to sit here on the corner of Yonge and Queen. And in 2025, at the end of May, the Hudson's Bay closed down all of its stores due to low foot traffic. The pandemic in 2020 also affected their sales, and they also said that Donald Trump's tariffs were impeding their ability to carry out business in Canada. And this flagship location on the corner of Yonge and Queen at one time was flourishing. But I am back here today in January 2026 to have a look inside of this now abandoned building. Ruby Liu, a billionaire in Vancouver, was able to swallow up 28 of the Hudson's Bay Corporation's leases, but unfortunately she was not able to take over the lease here at the flagship store in Toronto at Yonge and Queen. And this building is quite historical. It is of neo-Romanesque architecture. And the building is still accessible to foot traffic to get to the Toronto transit system. So today I am crossing the bridge that is from the Eaton Centre to the old Hudson's Bay department store. And the Hudson's Bay Company was in Canada for 350 years. Let's have a walk through the old Hudson's Bay department store, and I am on the second floor. And it appears as though they've put up some graffiti sort of pictures, and only time will tell what will become of this sought after location. And there are a number of pictures on the second floor where I am right now, inside of the flagships, what used to be the flagship store of the Hudson's Bay Company. And let's give credit to the artist. He is the creator of some of the artwork here inside of the old Hudson's Bay department store. Let's walk west in the building. And if I can recall, I think this floor used to have men's clothing. They always put men's clothing department closer to the main level. And when this was the Hudson's Bay department store, the third floor and the fourth floor were women's retail. And like I said, foot traffic is still allowed through this building to get to the subway. It's quite interesting to walk through the Hudson's Bay Company retail store now. I did work here over 25 years ago as a retail investigator. So basically I was catching shoplifters. It's anyone's guess what will become of the Hudson's Bay location here. You can't get up to the escalator now to go up to the third floor, but the old carpet is still here. This artwork does add a bit of charm, something to look at, and also masking the old department store. It's nice to see the escalators working again, because when I did a video on the last days of the Hudson's Bay store here in Toronto, the escalators were not working. And Ruby Liu, the billionaire in Vancouver, was hoping to buy out the lease such that she could create jobs and a retail sort of mall department store here. Wonder if the elevators are working here on the second level. Perhaps they are. No, they are not. Out of order. Unbelievable. I think I have so many memories here. I was in my early 20s when I worked here, fresh out of school, and I found the Hudson's Bay Company when I worked for them in the early 2000s. They treated their employees really well. I was really happy working for the Hudson's Bay department store. But near the end of their last days here in Toronto and across Canada, a lot of the workers were treated poorly, so far as I know. So it was quite unfortunate how the staff were treated. I'm now on the main floor. And on this floor, they had jewelry and makeup. There is some more artwork along the walls blocking the interior of the building. That side there would take you to Richmond Street. I wonder if I can get that way, guys. The elevators are out of order. I'm a nosy little bugger. Security there, I ain't getting in. I am not getting in those doors there. Associates only. Not anymore. Let's walk back along the main floor here inside the old flagship store of the Hudson's Bay. Closed down at the end of May in 2025. I am back here in 2026 seeing what they've done. So they've basically turned it into a path, and Toronto has a number of underground paths that take you to many Toronto destinations. And Toronto transit subway stations. So that's as far as I get to go here. This artwork is quite incredible by Chairman Ting. Nice, eh? It's pretty nice, I would have to say, eh? It's pretty nice. Hello, Queen Street, and on that side's the bay. It's anyone's guess as I go down to the lower level. It is anyone's guess what will become of this massive department store at one time. And prior to being the Hudson's Bay department store, it was the Simpsons department store. Now I am on the lower level. Some more artwork by Chairman Ting. There is the Toronto city landscape. That's pretty. And guys, I can show you where I used to walk through. Now, I'm not sure if I can get there now, but at one time, this is where the loss prevention office was. And we had an office with several CCTVs inside of the office. And there were over 100 cameras in the Hudson's Bay retail store. So a number of us would sit and just watch the floors of the store and see if anyone's behavior was suspect. So that's where the loss prevention office was, right here on the lower level. I'll keep walking through the path here, guys. There's one of the cameras. It's probably no longer working, but it could be wrong. I am on the lower level. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. It is a subway. Yikes. That's me in the morning when I'm having to take the subway. Quite creative, Chairman Ting. I am impressed. Quite creative. And if I were to keep walking east here, I would get back to Queen Subway Station. But I am going to walk on the other side of the path. That would take you over to Bay Street, where the underground path will take you over to the Sheraton Hotel. But I'm going to walk east here. Okay. At least you got something to look at, guys. At least we get something to look at if we are using this as a way to travel, especially in January when it is flipping cold out in Toronto. Isn't that cute? We do have some people taking photos here. Very creative. Very, very creative. Billion buns. Billion buns. So it's anyone's guess what will become of this iconic building here in Toronto on the corner of Yonge and Queen. But at the very least, they have made it quite interesting with all of this artwork by Chairman Ting, an artist out of Vancouver. And I am just going to walk over to the Queen subway station. And this building is ever evolving. That gentleman just said it smells like pee, and I will confirm it reeks of piss here for some reason. I think a lot of people who are unhoused perhaps have to use the washroom on the stairwell, and it just wafts through. There is the artist there for all the artwork that is currently here at the old flagship store of the Hudson's Bay Company in Toronto. Toronto with Love by Chairman Ting. Born and raised in Toronto, Carson Ting is a Canadian artist and illustrator based in Vancouver, known for bold line work, character-driven imagery, and a strong conceptual approach. Really cool artwork. Really cool artwork as I make my way to the Queen subway station here in Toronto.